Now, while the majority of councillors, 37 in total, voted for Rob Ford to step aside and cooperate with police, 5 voted against that motion. One of them was Toronto City Councillor Gord Perks, and Councillor Perks joins us now over the phone from City Hall. So, Councillor, we're looking at a few motions here, so a few votes at least, to apologize for misleading the City of Toronto in regards to that video. How did you vote?
Yes.
You voted yes, that he should apologize. And also,
yes, I did.
To take a leave of absence, you voted no.
That's correct.
Okay, and also for writing, apologizing for writing a reference letter for Sandra Lisi, his friend who's facing charges. Did you vote for him to apologize?
Yes, I did. And
also to cooperate with the police investigation.
I left the chamber and refused to vote on that.
Why did you refuse to vote on that?
There are 2 principal reasons. One is it is, in my view, wrong for any government to insist on someone surrendering their civil rights. It is within Mr. Ford's rights, whether I think he's exercising them properly or not, to refuse to participate in a police investigation.
As a human being, yes. As the mayor of Toronto, how do you think it looks on a global scale that the mayor will not cooperate with police in an investigation?
Well, I think it looks terrible, but it's his right to do it.
Okay, fair enough.
I draw a very sharp and clear distinction between the things that I think as a private individual or an elector and how I use my office. I took an oath to uphold all laws, federal, provincial, and municipal, as a member of council. I don't think it's right that governments interfere in criminal matters or in the criminal justice process, so I simply couldn't participate in that vote.
What are people who you represent saying to you about all of this? Do they want Rob Ford to cooperate with police? Do they want him to step down?
Overwhelmingly, I would say that my constituents want the mayor to resign his office.
So why?
And that's something that is absolutely their right to organize for, to speak up about. As a former community activist, I encourage people who hold that view to continue to put pressure on the mayor to resign. However, I have an office that I have to respect, and I do not think that it is within the rights of elected officials to attempt to push each other out of office. That's a very dangerous path to go down. It leads to targeting minority voices within a council or a parliament. It's just not healthy for democracy. I have to take seriously the difference between what I'm doing as a private individual and what I do as an office holder.
So what will you say to the people you represent?
I've already been writing and explaining that point of view to them, to a largely very positive response. I think people understand that it's not up to me to decide whose vote counts. It's not up to me to say, well, if you voted for Rob Ford, your vote doesn't count. That, I think, further alienates an already very alienated group of people within the City of Toronto. Our job as elected officials should be to restore faith in the legal accountability mechanisms that we have.
How do you do that in this scenario?
Well, I speak out about it wherever I can. I made an effort to refer the entire matter to the Integrity Commissioner, who does have some investigative powers and reported powers in terms of the conduct and behavior of members of council. I do my best. Principles are hardest to hold on to in difficult times.
I can appreciate that. How has this been for you as a councillor leading up to today's council meeting? We heard the mayor admit to smoking crack cocaine, these details now coming out of the police investigation, and you have to decide how to vote in these motions that the majority of the city is asking for.
Yeah, and I think it's, as I said, it's entirely within the rights of the media, of citizens' organizations, of neighborhood groups to call on the mayor to resign. I think that is appropriate and good, and I have encouraged the mayor in writing and today in the speech I gave to consider carefully the impact his behavior is having on this city going forward.
But what has it been like for you as a councillor?
The line I won't cross, though, is to use my office to try to push him out of office. That's just anti-democratic in the most extreme.
I can appreciate that. We were just looking at footage between Rob Ford and Councillor Denzil Minnan-Wong, where Councillor Minnan-Wong was saying later that, Rob Ford was pretty much being a bully to him in that scenario. What was that like? Were you there for that?
Yes, I was, and I went over to spoke to Denzil afterwards. Denzil and I don't agree on very much, but just as a human being, seeing the mayor of Toronto that angry charging at somebody is very upsetting. But we have to soldier on. We have a $10 billion annual government to run here, and we have to do our very best, whether the mayor is on council or not, to try to make sure it runs well.
I want to go back to what it has been like for you as a councillor, though. I can't imagine what it would be like to be involved in all of this right now.
It's difficult. It's very difficult. It's I spend far more time than I should talking to people and trying to sort out what's an appropriate response, reassuring people about that public services continue to be delivered in the excellent way the Toronto Public Service delivers them, when I should be working on improving the quality of our recreation centres, when I should be working to make sure that our transit system works better. And it's just a terrible distraction, and it's also extraordinarily difficult trying to sort out how best to represent the community. In one role, I'm someone who speaks out for the community, but in another role, I'm someone who's sworn an oath on how to perform my duties. And at times they come into conflict, and it's very painful.
How do you see this ending, Councillor?
I see it ending in 11 months when we have an election.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll speak to you in that time then. Thank you for your time right now. Toronto City Councillor Gord Perks joining us live from City Hall.